All right, welcome to Trending News here on Lookuptv. Thank you so much for making time for the program at this particular hour and trusting us to bring you up to date with what is making headlines in the country and across our borders. My name is Brian Amwai, and let's begin. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kindiki has affirmed that measures announced by the government last week on illicit brew and narcotic drugs are irreversible and non-negotiable. While meeting licensed alcohol manufacturers at GSU Training School in Embakasi, Kindiki said the 25-point policy and operational guidelines are not a declaration of war with businesses, but are meant to conclusively deal with the menace of poisonous and toxic substances that are destroying lives and hurting the future of the country.
As you are aware, on Wednesday last week, 6th of March 2024, the government announced 25 major policy and administrative steps that require to be taken to tackle the problem that we are having of proliferation of illicit and substandard alcoholic drinks, many of them toxic and poisonous, that have led to the deaths of our people, and also the problem of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Part of those measures included the suspension of all manufacturing and distilling of what is commonly known as second-generation alcoholic drinks, and we have been able to effect that suspension of licenses, but so that to help us streamline the sector and that industry in accordance with the law, we provided for a process to guide the administrative action. And therefore we called a meeting this morning of all manufacturers and people involved in the manufacture and the distillation of second-generation alcoholic drinks in the country, whose licenses stand suspended. That suspension is for 21 days, beginning 6th March 2024. It will come to an end on 27th of March 2024. We therefore thought we needed the input of the affected farms and businesses. They have all turned up in large numbers. They are in total support of the vetting process.
All right, now Haiti Prime Minister Ariel Henry has resigned from office following weeks of extreme violence by armed gangs in the country. Henry has held the position since the 2021 assassination of the then president. Last month, he traveled to Kenya in a UN-backed internal security mission to help police fight armed gangs, but his absence saw drastic escalation of unrest. Now, the Caribbean community is set to name an interim leader as preparations for the elections are underway. Narok-nominated Member of County Assembly Alice Chepkirui Kevin has suffered a big blow after the Court of Appeal in Nakuru upheld a judgment made by the High Court to nullify her nomination. The nullification followed a successful election petition by Josephine Seneyo of Jubilee Party, who argued that Ms. Kering, who had been nominated by the Jubilee Party, belonged to ODM Party. Now, the petition further claimed that Alice hailed from Nakuru County, where she is a registered voter, but was nominated in Narok County.
Mahakama ya Rufaa ya Kenya imetupilia mbali ombi la Alice Kering kujaribu kupiga appeal ama rufaa juu ya ile uamuzi ya High Court ya Kenya ya Narok ya Justice Konyo, ambapo walisema kwamba yeye alikuwa amechaguliwa kwa njia isiyo halali ahudumu katika bunge ndogo la Narok County. Na mahakama ya High Court ya juu ilikuwa imesema kwamba Kering hajawahi kuwa mwanachama wa chama ya Jubilee kwa ile list ya akina mama ya inaitwa gender top up list.
Hiyo kiti ilikuwa imepewa mtu wa Nakuru, na rasilimali zote zetu za kaunti zilikuwa zinaelekeshwa upande wa Nakuru. Hiyo niko na uhakika naye. Hakuna watu wetu walikuwa wana benefits na mali yetu na rasilimali zetu za Narok County. Na kwa sababu ya Mungu na wakili wangu, hiyo mali tumerudisha.
Let me call it a movement ya kutetea haki ya wanawake wa Narok ambaye kwa miaka mingi wamefinyiliwa. Na si wanawake tu, Narok hii watu wamefinyiliwa, hata wanaume kitambo. Ilikuwa tu watu wakitaka kuchange kama ni positions, mtu anataka hata kupewa, na wanajua kaunti zingine ni wajanja, wanajua kulalamika, watu walikuwa wana change na Narok. So for long watu wametushort change ama wametucheza sana. Lakini wakati umefika tunawaambia sasa mjue tuna wakili wamesoma, tumejua sheria. So don't try this again in Narok. Hapa tumejua maneno siku hizi. Naona wakili tuko nao kalikali. Sasa mkijaribu kucheza sisi 2027 tena, ni kama tutafanya mambo itakuwa ingine.
Sasa hujapatia watu wa forest state ama utawapatia?
Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika has faulted the Senate for the low wages that flower farm workers have been receiving, despite the sector raking in billions of shillings every year during a development tour of Karagita, Naivasha, which is home to hundreds of flower farm workers. The governor noted that the Senate had not enacted any laws to protect hundreds of workers and seek a rise in the minimum wages they were receiving.
Gavana, kuna sheria ambayo haizingatiwi ya minimum wage. Watu wanafanya kazi kwa maua, bado kuna madawa, lakini mtu akigojeka haangaliwi. Mtu anafutwa na amegojekea kwa maua. Hiyo hatutafanya nini? Hapa tuna leki Naivasha. Lakini ni kama sisi tulipata uhuru, lakini leki ikawa hata mkoroni. Gavana, ile kiko kaunti yako, na ile ni lazima gavana uipatiwe uhuru wake. Haiwezi kuwa na samaki ni ya watu wako hapo, sijui wengine asijui kozi kana wengine wa kurogwa. Kuna watu wengine gavana hata watu wakipeleka mashua zao hapo wanashikwa. Sasa gavana, mimi nauliza, kuna mtu umeona huko akipeleka fertilizer ya kukuliwa na
kama sasa wakiwa Senate wanafaa kuwa wanaongelelea maneno ya salaries za watu kwa maua, maneno ya conditions ya watu kwa maua, ya welfare inafaa hivyo, si ndio? Hapa kuongelelea vile tutaongezewa pesa Nakuru County ili tuweze kujenga mahospitali, kuzikwip mabarabara, maji, kuongeza basari na kazi ya aina hiyo. Sasa mimi wale watu napigana na wao kabisa ni wale wanaiba mashamba ya wananchi. Kwa ukitaka niwajengee kitu na shamba imeenda, sasa lazima kwanza nitafute ya kununua na mtu amenyakua ya wananchi. Hiyo ni ukwana kweli? Niendelee.
Gavana aliita wale watu ambao wanatupigia makelele sana hapa wakati wanakuja na safari rally. Si mnawajua? Na akawaambia ya kwamba this time round kazi inaajiriwa vijana wa kutoka wapi? Si makofi kidogo kwa gavana.
Now, the National Council of Churches of Kenya has called on the government to address the rising cost of living, noting that the NADCO report failed to adequately address the economic crisis. The council also urged the government to expedite justice for those who were arrested during protests.
I'm here courtesy of NCCK, Kisumu or Nyanza. In regard to the NADCO report, we note with concern that the report did not adequately suggest the way of reducing the cost of living, which is actually what was the driving factor of many people to run to the street. The report did not capture the plight of the police brutality survivors, those who are tortured, those who are hurt by the wars that were there during the maandamano. Were not really, their plight was not addressed, and we just want to pray that the leaders that we love and we sometimes go out and support, please remember these people. It is not right. And we ask for the leaders to stand for what is right. Citizen-led demand, which is enshrined in the Constitution, we would appreciate if the people's dignity, humanity, justice, and sovereignty, which belongs to the people, is highly upheld by all. We are sorry that no one is talking about them. We know that they were close to the politician than even to the church, but we were there and we know what has happened. We can see that the politicians are moving to their comfort zone.
Defaulted loans in the revolving Uwezo Fund currently stand at 1.5 billion shillings. Now the Oversight Board Authority has revealed the board chairperson Angie Guna has said that 48% of the money borrowed from the kitty is not repaid on schedule, attributing the failure to misinformation by the political class. Loan recipients have been urged to ensure they repay amounts due on time to enable other groups benefit.
Our recovery strategy is to increase our capacity building, increase our sensitization, because the majority of the money that is out there was due to the initial fund beneficiaries. But right now we are doing sensitization programs, we are doing capacity building. People are well informed that this is not a grant, this is a loan, that once we give them out, we are following up on the repayment rate. And we have seen quite a big improvement in terms of our repayment rate than what it was previously. So we are working closely even with the Ngao team to make sure that our beneficiaries, even as they receive the fund, they are repaying. In different areas, we are looking at what is predominant in those particular areas. There are areas where we are focusing more on oil, edible oil. There are areas where we are focusing more on the leather chain, and those are areas which we are giving more attention, we are giving more focus to ensure that they are more empowered, they are more facilitated to be able to do that which they want to do.
The Parliamentary Committee on Administration and Internal Security has raised concerns over inadequate funding of vital government departments. While on a fact-finding mission at Lake Naivasha Resort, the committee pointed out that despite seeking a budgetary allocation of 1.4 billion shillings, the newly created department received around 400 million shillings, adversely affecting its operations.
I believe that is a matter that has been discussed, and of course the chair here of the parliamentary committee, who are basically the ones who do budget oversight, shall be able to talk on. But from where we sit, I think even yesterday in the cabinet dispatch, we saw that this is one clear impact of what we've been doing in terms of the ministerial discussions, that where we are moving in from cash-based to accrual-based kind of budgeting. So a lot of these discussions are spurring very positive policy decisions.
The State Department of Performance and Delivery is a very critical state department which ensures that the government delivers to the promises and the pledges that made to the Kenyans. And I think it was been clearly stated by the PS that they play a very pivotal role to ensure that the commitments that made by the different state department and the state different MDAs are delivered on time. Recently, about a week ago, we had an engagement on what is known as BPS, and they had a budget of about 400 million, which is really the shortfalls largely affect performance of their targets. It is also one of the issues that we are trying to discuss on how moving into the future, especially when we move into the printed estimate, we can able to help them so that they can able to execute their mandate.
All right, details of this and much more stories will be coming your way in our subsequent bulletins tonight at 7 p.m. That is on Lookuptv with Fiona Kenga, and at 9 p.m. on The Bottom Line with me, Brian Amwai. And also tonight we'll be having a conversation on achieving gender parity in the country. I'll be introducing my guest later on, of course. My name is Brian Amwai. Thank you so much for your time and trusting us to bring you up to date with the news at this particular hour. Enjoy the rest of your programming here on Lookuptv.